Okay, now that we have that official roster, I want to bring in David Diplacido. He's a former professional soccer player. David, 32 players, only 26 made the cut. What do you make of the roster? Did the coach make the right call?
Yeah, I think so. It's definitely some difficult decisions had to be made, and it kind of speaks to the quality and the depth that we have now in the program. But I think for the most part, the players that were expected to be there were all there. There were a couple surprises, I think, just due to injury, but they were able to get themselves, I guess, in form and be part of the roster. So not a ton of surprises, but there's a ton of depth now in the program. So some difficult decisions were made for sure.
Yeah, for a soccer player, what is it to make the Canadian team when FIFA, the World Cup, is going to be hosted in Canada? Like, how big a deal is this?
Oh, for sure. I can just imagine what some of these players are feeling, especially the ones that are born and raised in Toronto or Vancouver. They're going to have tons of friends and family at the games. And just being in Canada in general, I think it's just going to have a huge impact on the grassroots programming, the younger programs, the younger players. So, yeah, it's going to be huge. I think for the players, it's going to give them that extra bit of energy. Not that they really need that for a World Cup, but I think it's just going to be a good thing all around.
I talk about it being a hard decision, and I think you understand what I mean here, to have to cut from the 32 down to 26. That's a tough one, right? But what goes into selecting that perfect roster? It's simply skill? Is it chemistry amongst the players? What would they be looking for?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of everything. I know Jesse Marsh and his staff have obviously been around a lot of these players for a long time, and they have a certain way they want to play, and high tempo, aggressive, fast. So obviously, a lot of those types of players were selected as part of the squad. But it was still difficult because there were so many quality players in each position now. It's not like it was maybe in the past where there was not a ton of depth. Now there's 3, 4, 5 players deep in multiple positions. So definitely some difficult decisions, but. Like I said, given the players or the way we want to play, I think the coaching staff probably had a pretty good idea of, which players are going to be part of it. I think the only part that maybe gave it, created a little more doubt was, some of the recent injuries that happened recently. But it seems like most of those players were able to get back to form. So.
I want to ask you the recent injuries in just a minute, but let me just touch on what you said there. You're talking about a wealth of riches in terms of who you have to choose from in Canada to play on a team. And that wealth did not, it hasn't always existed in Canada. Can you just talk to me about what has been going on in Canada over, I guess, a decade or more, developing men's soccer in this country? Soccer in general, really.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. I think it's blown up on the women's side, maybe a little bit earlier, but the last 10 years, as you mentioned, it's really taken steps on the men's program. I think being in the last World Cup just elevated and escalated everything even further. But I do feel now with having a pro league here in Canada on the men's side and the women's side, it's only going to get accelerated faster. And with this World Cup, it's just going to, in my opinion, blow up to a very high level. So,
yeah. On those injuries, Alphonso Davies who's a name that I think a lot of Canadians are very familiar with, and they may not be familiar with others who've been named to this team, but he is one, and he's still recovering in Munich. And I'm understanding probably not going to be playing the opening game in Toronto. How does that affect the team's morale?
Well, I think. I spoke about the depth, and I think they do have a lot of depth, and so it will be a bit of a blow. But with that said, I think it seems like the team is really tight, and they have a lot of players that can step in off the bench. So if it's only one game, let's hope it's one game that he misses. I think they'll still be in a good position to get out of the group stages with the players they have there, and then. Let's hope Alphonso can get in game 2 or game 3 at the very least and have a long run.
Thank you, David Diplacido, a former professional soccer player. It's been great to speak with you.
Thanks for having me, guys.